Hey guys, so this is another video. I wanted to kind of show a couple things I've been exploring with trend intensity and um, you know exploring trend intensity respective to names in their industry, and exploring trend intensity and sorting by trend intensity for names in relation to the entire market. And I've been trying out some pretty interesting stuff, and I wanted to kind of show that around. And so I'm gonna get right into it here. And so I got my chart on the left and a couple watch lists on the right here. And I'll just start with the chart, and it's a little bit different. This is the daily chart. And then what I got here is I got a couple like boxes here. And this is kind of just a new thing I've been trying. And I think it's interesting. So all I've done here, this is the SPY. And what I've done is I've just made this price region tool. And what's cool about the price region tool here is it can be a global price region. So what I've done is I've just kind of made like a price region for the drop in SPY, and then this drop here in SPY, and then I've made this price region in gray for this kind of range type of thing, which I consider as kind of like a range. And then what I've done is I've made a third price region in blue, and it's the current rise in price in SPY. And this is like a global thing. So then, like, if I go to it's just like a relative strength thing in SPY, and you can use this with an indicator. I've been exploring trying to use it like this to see if it kind of gives me some easier, faster ideas. And for example, I can look at this and I can say Bohr, this name has gone sideways when SPY was dropping quickly, and then I can see as SPY was ranging, it rose very rapidly, and now it's doing this while SPY is rising. It's rising slowly too. It's pretty cool. I consider that a very strong correlation. So that's what that is. And so then I've got my watch list here. In this watch list, I'll explain kind of what's going on. I got my symbol, and then I got my percentage change, my volume buzz, and then what I have here, which I've shown in a sense in another video, is 3ADR. And what I use here is just the average ADR of the last 3 candles divided by the average ADR of the last 20 candles before them. So when you do this formula and you see low numbers, then that usually means that the candles are tight compared to its usual price action. So that's a cool clue for tightening ranges. And so this is a value I'm using. So basically when I sort this, for example, if I sort it by highest, and then if I kind of go down this list, you can see how all these names are really running up or running down somewhere, and they're very explosive and very volatile, which is interesting. Maybe you can get some ideas from there if you're interested in something like that. And then if you go down to the bottom, the first ones you're gonna get like some buyouts and like really, like those kinds of things. And then if you keep going a little bit, then you'll see something like wheat. And so you can see this is very low 3ADR, which just basically means like these last 3 candles have been low range compared to the 20 candles before it. And how low? One of the lowest in this watch list, in this scan. Oh yeah, I'm doing a scan here, sorry. This is a leader scan. I've done this in the previous one. Toned these numbers a little bit down, it's 90%. Just to get a couple more names in here, because I sort this kind of stuff now, and so I'm not looking at every name. 800 names in here. I might not have time to look at 800 names, so I'll show you how I'm sorting this thing too. So that's the 3ADR. Then I have another one. It's also called 3ADR, and it's just a little dot. And this dot just means it's like below, what is it, 1.1? Yeah, 1.1. That I've been looking at some of them, and I've kind of seen that if it's like below 1.1, or if it's higher than 1.1, then it's usually kind of like a range expansion. kind of thing going on those. So I think it's a quick way for me to just sort it and say less than 1.1 at least, right? So that's the ADRs, and then I got my trend intensity, 3 check marks for trend intensity here, and that's a little bit different than the numbers ranking. You can see I have the ranking here, like I had in the previous videos, and this is a little bit of a different trend intensity, a rank kind of assortment, and what I've done here, which is a little bit different, and so what I've done is I've ranked the trend intensities by the entire market. So I'm ranking this over like the last 10 bars, say. The trend intensity ranks in the top percentile on the daily candle. So on the daily range, the trend intensity is ranking one of the top in the market, right? And what I've done here is I've kind of done this in 2 parts, and I found this is kind of an interesting way to see this, and I've done different combinations of this trend intensity. So what I've tried to find is that it ranks high on multiple time frames. So this is ranking a certain percentile on the daily, and then the next one, it's also ranking a certain percentile on the 30-minute chart. So this basically means that it's moving in a very standout way on the daily and also the 30-minute at the same time. And then I have this combination for different time frames. So I have this as the daily and the weekly. So this would be, it's moving in a very standout way, an outlier. It's an outlier in trend intensity on the daily, and it's an outlier in trend intensity on the weekly. And then I have the weekly and monthly. I have the daily and monthly, and then I have the 30-minute. It's a low time frame trend intensity, but it's an outlier in that time frame. And then I have that, and it also is a weekly or a monthly. So these are just different combinations to try to grab names that are moving in an outlier way in multiple time frames. So it's not just it's less of a just a anomaly and more of something that's been seen more than once in more than one time frame. So I think that's interesting, and so I've ranked it by that, and I've kind of been using this, and I found it's given some interesting results. So I have that, and that's called like TI3, for example, and then I have TI2 and 1, and it's exactly the same thing, but it's just a higher rank, the higher percentile. So now I'm saying, okay, well, this is 97 to 98%, and then trend intensity 1, for example, is up to 98 and 99%, right? So essentially what I'm doing is I can easily see like 3 check marks for this in a trend intensity, which means that it's immediately I can see that it's in the top 99% of trend intensity. So I thought that was interesting, and I wanted to kind of try to use that to at the same time see trend intensity relative to its industry. So for example, I can see if I go to, say, chemicals, right? I can see this, and this is the same watch list setup as this, but this is industry based. So these are only the chemical names that have a certain ADR and volume criteria. And what's cool is, kind of before, or still maybe in a sense, you can go down and you can see this ranking when these names kind of pop in, which I still do. But what's cool is you can quickly, if I can see this, when I go to this, the first thing I see is LXU, for example, has 3 check marks. If I click on LXU, you could see immediately that LXU in its industry is the number 1 name, actually. And I didn't plan this, but I actually didn't even know. I have it flagged. I think I might be in a position in this, actually. I don't even know. Actually, I am. So yeah, this is the highest trend intensity in its industry, right? But I can also see that it's in the top 99 percentile of trend intensity in the market at the same time. So those are two powerful things that I can see at the same time. And then I have the 3 ADR thing, so I could see it's relatively low ADR. So that's cool, right? So that's how I'm using that. And I think that's pretty much, how I'm kind of going about this part. And then the second thing I wanted to show is more of the multi-column sorting aspect of this. And that's in the sense that I have 800 names here, for example, in this universe scan of leaders. And, if I go down, the check marks are kind of just popping in, and then I got my industries here, and I can kind of go in and, it'll populate here, which is cool. It's a cool way, it's a nice way to go about it. But another way to go about it, or an additional way, is through multi-column sorting, right? Which I was kind of going into in the last video. And what's cool about multi-column sorting is that you can sort conditional values, which are basically yes or no values, against both numerical, for example, the 3 ADR, and industries. And if that sounds confusing, I'll show you right now how I essentially do it. So I have this list, and basically what I'm going to say is, first thing I want to see is the lowest ADRs. Okay, I want to see the lowest ADRs that I can see. Okay, so that sorts by lowest ADRs, and then this is going to go from lowest priority to highest priority. What do I really want to see that I have as column here on the right? And I have this actually ordered in a way that can show you. So I have the low ADRs. So what I really want to see is that the ADR is below 1.1. That's would be very preferable to me. Okay, the next thing I want to see is that the trend intensity ranks at least a 3 in the market. So I'll sort by that then, right? Okay, and then the next thing I'll do right after that is I'll click on this here, which is trend intensity 2. So I'll say I would really even more like to see trend intensity 2. Okay, and then I'll say what I really, really, really want to see is trend intensity 1, right? The 99 percentile trend intensity. So I have that all, and since I've clicked it in this way, it's basically ordered the watch list based on that priority. So I'll explain now. If you can see all these names here have met all these 4 criteria, right? Not only have they met all that 4 criteria, but the 3 ADRs are actually being sorted from bottom down. So the top name, Indo, is meeting all 3 criteria, and it's also the lowest of the ADR criteria that they can find for me, right? That it can find for me. And then if I go down here, you can see all these names are meeting all this criteria, right? And then when I scroll down enough, you can see, okay, well, this is, top percentile trend intensity criteria, but we couldn't meet. It's higher ADR, and so you can see, for example, this one, AOSL. It's got more of a range expansion type of ADR, but it is still top percentile trend intensity, right? GME, right? And then what it's going to show me is, okay, well, here we go. Here's at least 97 percentile trend intensity, trend intensity ranked, and it's also tight. And then here's wheat, right? If we keep going down, here's 1, and then it's going to show me 1, but it's more of a range expansion type of ADR. And then it's going to say, okay, well, and then at the bottom of the list really is all we can find for you here is that it's a low ADR, right? Average, tight ADR. And then if you keep going down, I can't find anything. Okay, so that's going to just get to the bottom of the list. So that's really cool that it just sorted all that for me. And then I can, start to look at things in this way. And the things that matter to me criteria-wise, I'm shown first, right? So that's cool, right? And then here's one more thing you can do after you've sorted all that, and you've kind of, if you want to ever try this out, try that. The last thing you can do is actually click the industry button, and then we'll see what happens. So if I click the industry button here, okay, so now this has all gotten sorted in a different way. And here's the way that it got sorted. It's gotten sorted by industry, but it's done everything else as well. So the first thing they're going to show you is the industry, alphabetically. So the first thing that's going to pop up is advertising agencies, then aerospace, then agricultural inputs. You can go down here and find oil and gas names in their respective industries, medical devices here. And what's cool about this is I can quickly see, for example, I really want to see the ranking based on my criteria for aerospace and defense, for example. And what's going to pop up right number one is RADA. I don't know how you say it, but this is going to pop up and it's going to tell me quickly that this top percentile trend intensity in the market, okay? What it's also going to tell me is this is the best thing we can find for you, but unfortunately can't find that low ADR there. Best next thing in aerospace and defense, you can find this one with a low ADR, TGI, if you're interested in that. Agricultural inputs, it'll show you, well, we got these names for you. These are 3. And you can see how there's multiple names in this industry that are meeting this criteria. So what can you do? You can immediately just look to the right, and then you can say, okay, well, let's actually figure out the exact ranking of this thing. So what are we looking at here? IPI? No. There's another 3. This one. IPI. I can quickly see that IPI looks like the best in its respective industry, and it's also a top percentile ranked against the market. I think that's pretty cool and pretty powerful. You can go down and kind of look at all these things, and it gives you a good idea also about something, about industry strength. Because you can see some names have very little check marks. For example, drug manufacturing. You can quickly see that. And you can see some names, I already know, oil and gas. Let's look at all these check marks. It's check mark mania here. So that's a big clue there. If you're wondering, where's the top percentile? Where are the top percentile names in this industry? So this industry is a top percentile industry. So, it's a lot to think about. A lot of stuff. I'm gonna share this. See if anybody's interested in this. I want to crack it open and try it out. Feel free. And yeah, I think that's it. Thanks.